Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new, welcome. I'm so happy you're here. I'm Lisa. Excuse the crazy bangs. I don't know what they're doing. I have natural curly hair and it's going nuts. Anyway, today we are here to do our marker comparison and I am so pumped for this video. So let's get right into it. And to start with, I'm just going to show you which markers I have and talk to you about how many's in the pack and the cost, because this is the two things we're going to compare first. And what I'll do is I'll go through all the testing. I'll tell you everything I'm testing for. We'll do it all, and then at the end I will have a chart with my recommendation. So like I said, let's get started. Okay, so I have the Posco, the Uni Posco pens. This one came with 12 pens and it was $21.30. Next, I have the Fine Line markers from Crayola. It comes with 40 markers. You can see all the colors there. And it was $13.49. Next, I have the Ecoline, which are brush pens. It came with 10 and they were $24.95. And last, I have the Arteza. It came with 24 and they are $19.99. They're regular $24, but I got them marked down to $19.99. So we have all of those. Those are two of our comparison points. How many markers and for the price. Now, we're also going to be comparing vibrancy, bleed, how well they blend, and how they fit in your hand, how well they feel. Because I know some of us have arthritis, I have CRPS, you know, it's all different for everybody. So I do want to get that hand feel in there so everybody will just have that reference. Okay, so I'm going to pick a similar color among all of them, and I will make a mark on, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different types of paper. And the paper I'm going to use, I have some watercolor paper. I just have some coffee dyed notebook paper. I have a piece of cardstock. I have a dot journal, so I'm going to do it on a page, and a piece of plain copy paper. So let's get started with the actual writing test. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick a color the same out of all of them. So I'm going to pick dark blue, and I'm just going to write like P-O and then draw a line. As you can see, brand new. I've never used it. And this test right now we're doing is for vibrancy. How bright are they on the plain copy paper? And because we're crafters, we use multiple different types of paper and things to draw on. This is the Ecoline. I think we definitely want to compare on different types of paper as well. So I'm going to do that. This is the Arteza. So you've got, very pretty. Those are like the exact same color too. Okay, now last is crayons on the copy paper. Oh look, it's in multiple cases too, so I'm gonna have a minute to find the blues. Oh look, first one, that was luck. Because seriously, I had not opened any of these yet. Alright. Okay, so this is what the Crayola one looks like. And I'll put C-R-A-Y and do a line. Okay. So there they are on the copy paper. In fact, I will write copy paper on here so you can all see. Copy paper. Next, we'll do the dark journal. And again, I'm just going to use the same color, same pen. So this is the dot journal. I do have a sheet under here, so if they bleed, it catches it, just so I don't waste paper. Okay, but we're still doing vibrancy. So I'm going to go in the exact same order so we can compare vibrancy on different types of paper. So this is PO, and then a line. I know I didn't quite get the same in the Uniposc, but it's the only one I had, the only blue, so it'll have to work. ECO, these are the Ecoline, the Arteza, and the Crayola. And those three colors, if you ask me, are all about the exact same. Okay, there's that, and this is the, well, dot. I'll put dot. Okay, I'm gonna move this up a little bit, and we'll go to the coffee stain paper because we use a lot of coffee stain papers. Guess I'll move these out that way a little bit. Okay, same order. So we got the Posco pen. Where'd I put it? Oh, there it is. So it's PO, and we're gonna do the line. Then the Ecoline ones. I already have some thoughts, but right now I'm going to finish the test before I talk about what I'm seeing so far, because let's get to all papers. Okay. And next is the cardstock and then the watercolor paper. Okay, so let's do this again. And the last one is going to be a piece of watercolor paper. Okay, that is all of our paper, and I'm going to try to get them all in view here. Okay. So I have to say, in vibrancy even, and I'm going to do vibrancy even on the coffee stain because they're pretty much across the board for me. And in the Posco, because it's a different color, it's kind of hard to tell, but it's actually very vibrant itself. And of course, the Ecoline and the Arteza, they're equal as far as vibrancy across all papers. The Crayola actually did the best on the watercolor paper. I think this is the most vibrant it looked on the watercolor paper, and it didn't look very vibrant on the copy paper or at all on that, but I think on the watercolor paper, the Crayola actually did really well. So that's vibrancy, but I have to say the three, the Posco, the Echo, and the Arteza were the most vibrant, and the Ecoline and the Arteza were the exact same colors. So, and they're close in price, so I'm not surprised. Okay, now let's look at bleed. Since I just wrote on all these papers, let's check out bleed. And of course, it's not going to bleed through on watercolor paper, okay? But can you see the feathering in the Arteza line, how it kind of filled out into the watercolor paper there? And the Ecoline did not. And they are both watercolor markers. So that's interesting. The Posco, of course, didn't, and neither did the Crayola. But you can see the Arteza feathering out. Your line is not as crisp. So that's interesting. The rest of the time, they were all just as crisp. So I'm going to add a category of sharpness. And in the end, they were all sharp except the Arteza when it got to the watercolor paper, which is interesting. Okay, so let's check bleed. Okay, we have no bleed there. No bleed there. And this is just bleed making a line, okay? No bleed there. Watercolor we already checked. Did the dot paper bleed any? No bleed. Okay. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to just use this coffee stain paper. And I know not everybody uses watercolor, so I'm not going to use that. Okay, next we're going to do a little coloring to see on bleed, about bleed when you do a more concentrated little bit. So we're going to go in the same little order, and I'll just start with the dot paper this time. Okay, let's check the bleed now on the dot paper. And still no bleed. So that is pretty good. Now the one that looks, you know, the wettest coming through here is Ecoline. And I'll tell you, I can feel Ecoline coming through. But it's not coming through. It's just, it's wetter than the rest. So that's good. Okay, so let's try it on some normal copy paper, because we use this a lot in crafting too. So I'm going to do the same thing, just kind of on the copy paper, the bleed. That time we had a little more bleed with the Arteza in the center, and a little bit with the Posco on the end, but it looks like the Arteza is going to be the one really there, and a little bit of the Crayola. Okay, and that's just the plain copy paper, and then I'll do the coffee stain paper for those that color on their coffee stain paper. Okay, and this time the Crayola is really bleeding through on the coffee dyed notebook paper. I also want to point out again, my Arteza paint pen markers are feathering at the end, where the Ecoline and the rest are staying very crisp. I don't know if you can see that. I'll take a picture maybe and insert it for you, but it's feathering out, so that's interesting. Okay, I'll do the cardstock now. One thing with a Crayola, you do have to color a lot more to get coverage, so that will also be a thing. And of course, none of them are bleeding through on the thicker paper. That's why I took the watercolor just out, because I know they're not going to bleed. Okay, so that is our vibrancy, our bleed. Let's do our blend now, blending. And I'll use my little journal to blend. And the Arteza paint brush pens came with a water brush pen, so we're just going to use that. So we're just going to use that to see how well they blend. So I'm going to color a new line and then see how well it blends. Okay, and I want to blend it out just a bit. Okay, the Posco blend pretty good, I would say. Okay, now I'm going to clean this. Okay, next is the Ecoline. Okay, next I'm going to do the Ecoline, but I had to go, I spilled the water, so I'm going to do another Ecoline there. And come in with my, and the Ecoline doesn't blend that well. Interesting. Okay, let's do the Arteza, which is the one that comes with the blending pen. So I'm assuming it should do really well. Yeah, I think it does. It's definitely blending, and if I get in there, yeah, it's doing okay. It's very wet, so you want to make sure you do this on watercolor paper. Then the Crayola. And again, I find with the Crayola, you have to color a lot more to cover the same amount of surface. So I'll label that surface coloring. Oh, the Crayola blend pretty too. Yeah, the Crayola blend really pretty. But again, because I'm using water, you would need to be on paper that just doesn't fall apart with it, is my advice. Okay, and as far as hand fill, you know, the chunkier ones for me are easier to hold, but again, that's because my hands don't bend well. But this one's not bad either, because it's kind of a medium. It's not a super thin like a pencil. So I'm fine with actually all of these widths. If you have a real hard time closing your hands, you know, the two thinner ones might be a little harder, and these might be more comfortable. Now, as far as what I would do, so I would definitely buy this for the paintbrush effect, and I would buy the Ecoline. These are my two recommendations. I don't recommend the Crayola. Yes, it comes with a lot of colors, and yes, it has the cheapest price, but you have to work a lot harder to get an equal amount of marker down on the page. It just doesn't seem as vibrant. I don't know, on camera, it's not in person as vibrant. So I'm going to say no, definitely to the Crayola. And the Posco are great. I know people love these. It's just, I can use these two, the Ecoline and the Arteza, and be great and not have to spend the money on the Posco, even though these are not cheap, guys. Let me stress that. But, so I'm going to say no to the Posco and the Crayola, and I'm going to say yes to the Ecoline and the Arteza. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this marker comparison, the table at the end. I hope it kind of cleared things up for you. If you have any questions, please post them down below in the comments. I will definitely get back to you and answer them. And again, my recommendations were Ecoline and Arteza. Thanks for being here today. Have a great rest of your evening. I will see you soon. Take care. Bye.